Now, some of the hostages that were being held captive at a store in the Sundumbili near the North Coast of KwaZulu-Natal have been released. A hostage negotiator and police are on the scene. Heavily armed thieves attempted to rob the store. Our senior reporter Dasen Thathiah is on that story and joins us yet again. Dasen, what is the latest coming from police? Any sign of those robbers?
Well, some concerning information coming from police. Just a short while ago, we did speak to Brigadier eNCA. He's over there at the back, and he was saying to us that there is now the possibility that those armed robbers that were inside, the 6 of them, heavily armed, some carrying rifles and handguns, they may either still be inside the shopping complex or they may have gone out a door that they had managed to open from inside. That is still not clear, that is not confirmed yet, so the search continues inside to ensure that they are in fact not in the building or whether they've escaped. But this is now a parallel process, because while that is happening inside here, there are also police officers in the broader area that are looking at the possibility of tracking them if they had gotten out. So this operation is happening all around us. The danger here is that they were heavily armed. They did manage to stay in that building, or they had gotten into that building rather very early this morning at about 5 o'clock. And on the other side of all of this is that good news that 10 people have been released. 10 of them are out. Unfortunately, not all of them are in a good state. I had an opportunity to speak to IPSS and Marinus Nabel earlier. Mfundo, I'm hoping that I can just play a portion of that interview for you to hear the condition of those hostages.
Well, the first batch that came out this morning, the staff were actually locked in a freezer, which is quite low temperatures, minus, suffering severe hypothermia and quite traumatized regarding the situation. It's unclear how they got out of the freezer, but they made it out. We assessed them and then transported them to a local facility in KwaZulu-Natal. The first batch, there were 6 staff members that came out, and then now, as you can see, when our ambulance arrived, the last 3 staff members came out. They apparently were locked in an office. They're suffering from a lot of trauma as well, and one of them with severe high blood pressure. And they'll also be transported to a facility to be monitored.
You know, Dasen, you touched on the fact that there's a possibility that these robbers could have escaped through some other door. But it's quite concerning, because one would have assumed the police would have surrounded the area in its entirety and perhaps established from some if there are other exits. And it seems that they were unable to do just this.
Well, that's just it. So at this point, that is the confirmation that we're waiting for. But I can just take you through this scene from where we are now. So on the road that we are standing on, there are cordons on both sides. So there are cordons further down the road where we did our initial crossing when we got here, and there's another one on this side. And off to the side is where that building is. That is where it's got an exit. It's got exits on the opposite side of the road, a road parallel to the one that I'm on, and there are also doors on the side. If they did escape, it's not clear when that happened. It could have happened quite much earlier on. It could have happened at a point before the hostage negotiators went in. At this point, it's all speculation, because they very well could still be inside the building and hiding. One of the police officers was also saying that there's a possibility that they could have even gotten into the roof. It's only until that building has been completely scoured and they know for sure that they're not inside that they can say definitively that, in fact, they have escaped, and that then would pose a serious concern. There was also information earlier that there was a potential getaway car that was parked outside. That person was waiting here, presumably to take them away after this robbery, which also then gives the indication that it's possible that they had no intention to take these people hostage. They had no intention of holding themselves up inside this building, that they had every intention then to go inside, rob the place and jump out and get into that getaway car. So it would be interesting to find out if the fact that the getaway car, or what was presumed to be a getaway car, leaving had any bearing on them remaining behind and taking these people hostage, or if that in fact was the other way around, and they had the getaway car had left as a result of the decision that they had made. No track of that vehicle, or no sign of that vehicle or that driver yet. Police are still looking for him. One of the things that is difficult there is that a description a proper description has not been received from the witnesses around here as to what the registration is and what the car exactly looks like. A very vague description that was given. But police are still here, and they are speaking to witnesses, they're speaking to the employees that they had taken out. They're trying to gather all of their facts. We must bear in mind that it is still extremely early in this investigation because it is an active scene as well. All of this taking place in the early hours of the morning. So one can hope then that there would be some positive results as the morning progresses.
No, most certainly, but it will be interesting to hear from some of the witnesses if in fact the robbers are still in there, when they released them, or if they escaped, then were they perhaps given an instruction to say they'll be at a specific period, you guys will step out. So it will really be interesting to establish the facts and find out if in fact they do find those robbers in there.
That's right, and there's another unfortunate side to all of this, and that's that when I was speaking to Brigadier Jane Naika earlier, he was saying that we were just saying that we had spoken not long ago at another hostage situation, and there have been a few others. So I'd asked him if it was a trend or if this was something that was now on the rise, and according to him, it was because these robbers or these suspects in these incidents find themselves with no other place to go, and as a result of that end up taking people hostage. So on the one hand, it's, yes, one could say that police are putting pressure on criminals, but on the other hand, you have this added danger that when they do feel threatened, that they will take the people around them hostage, which adds a completely new threat and danger because now they fear for their lives. So it really is a catch-22. You find that this is where the experience comes into place. The special task force members, the hostage negotiators, they did have a successful negotiation in Umbumbulu. That was the last scene that we were at. Everyone managed to get out of there safely. The family that was being held got out without injury. The suspect was arrested. So really that's the type of results that they are normally hoping for. And in this case, half of that is done. The hostages are free. It's just a matter of tracking down those armed robbers and making sure that they are arrested.
All right.